Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Punk Palace. This one, we're honouring this album this week. Dandy Punk Prince.
You can almost see the scars where I cut a hole in my chest, trying to let my body breathe, exercise the demons first, 'cause they're eating me from in my soul. When your face shows no interest, stable man, if I'm shooting my
very much. So cheers everybody, I hope you're all doing okay and getting through the lockdown as best you can. And here we are again, another Sunday, so a big welcome back to you regulars and a huge welcome to any newcomers here. To the Punk Palace. So this Punk Palace, which has now become affectionately known since doing all these lockdown shows, and of course this is the room where I recorded the Dandy Punk prints in. Well, the piano. I had this old piano, it's the piano on the cover. Really old piano. It was from 1835. So, for some context in that, it's like kind of Beethoven's era. This guy over there. It was really old and fragile. It's so old. It was before they had the iron frames in the piano, so it was purely wood. And it's kind of too fragile to transport. So, as some of you will remember, I did the 7 Nights in Soho, which was the recording of the drums only. With Ed and Simon, the engineer, we moved into Leicester Square Theatre up in London, in Soho, for 7 nights. And we went in there in the night. We went at midnight after as they say in the industry, when the theatre is dark. So after all the shows had cleared out and the stars had finished, we moved in and set up. So we did like midnight till 8 in the morning for 7 nights. And, it was great. It was weird getting used to sort of night shifts and sort of recording at sort of 4 in the morning and 5 in the morning. But it was a great week, and we recorded the album live. There was no click tracks, but of course I played the piano there, but we only recorded the drums. And then me and Simon, we moved into here, my house at the time, and then we carried on the second half of the recording with the piano. But a funny story with the piano, it was so old. I tried all the piano tuners in Sussex, and no one would touch it. They were like, no, it's too old, I'm not risking it, because of course with it all being wood, it could basically just crack if you tune it. But anyway, I managed to find an engineer, not an engineer, a piano tuner in the end. And it was Dave Gilmour's piano tuner Dave Gilmour from Pink Floyd. So he came along and we did the piano, and he was there with his tuning key just before we started. And it's like, you know the deal, Matt? And the deal was basically, if you did that and the piano cracked right down the middle and basically broke, it wouldn't be his fault. So we were all sitting there nervous as hell, you know, waiting for him to turn that first key. And it worked out, but it was, again, so old, the piano. I don't want to get technical, but it was just between a minor third and a fourth out. So I had to transpose all the piano parts to like a minor third. So if you try playing along to the album, it's basically impossible. But anyway, I thought tonight I would share some little stories and insights of the album, and kind of have a trip down memory lane even for myself. I was playing the album. I've not played it in a few years now, probably 4 years. I've made like 2 more albums since then, and it kind of goes on the wayside. So it's been a nice week kind of listening back to the old tunes and stuff. And this next song, I'll tell a little story of some of them. I'm not going to waffle on all night, because it's supposed to be a show, isn't it? I was going through a phase of writing songs during gigs, and I was playing a festival in Farnham, I think it was. It was a 2-hour-long set, and it was inside this kind of working men's club. And they got bands on the outside, and I was on in the inside. And it was really busy, and the outside was quiet. And I was like, why is it so busy? I thought, they can't all be here for me. And they weren't, and it turned out that they turned the screens on at, say, 8 o'clock, and it was the football. So I was there playing away, sort of accompanying the football, and the gig kind of wore on, and it was getting kind of, you know, not all gigs are the best gigs, and this was quite a tough gig, so I was kind of noodling around. I was like, oh, I'm just going to mess around and play a song, like make a song up and play it at the same time. So I did that, and this is this song, and afterwards, my agent came up to me, and he's like, oh, Matt, what was that song? I really liked it. And I was like, oh, John, I made that up, it's not a song. And he was like, oh, it was a really great song. And I couldn't remember it, and then I was like, oh, maybe it was a good song. So for days and days I searched in the back of my mind to try and find the song. And I got there in the end, and it turns out it was an alright song. But it's this song, and this is Frame for Glory. Thank you very much. So of course tonight I'm using my special Dandy Punk Prince mug. Thank you again, Heather. I think you all know this mug by now. No one knows what's in it yet. I'll save that for the next Q&A, huh? So many years ago, I make myself sound so old, but I know a lot of you will remember my days touring with Hazel O'Connor, and this next song was always my opener, and it was a boogie version of this song, and I kind of didn't want to put boogies onto this record. And at the time, I was playing with Ed, and we had a bass player called Sammy, who just before making this record moved to Hong Kong, so me and Ed had to rework all the songs just for the two of us, and that's where the sort of duet thing came from, just the two of us, seeing how much noise we can make basically with just piano and drums, which this entire record is only piano with the drums. There are no other instruments on it. But I'll get onto that a bit later. But I remember many times, like going up to London, we were rehearsing and stuff. And Sammy, he was like, "Hey Matt, you know, like, you need to get some riffs into the songs." And I was like, "Riffs? On the piano, aren't they like riffs for guitars?" And I'd never thought of putting sort of hooks and stuff on piano songs. So I took the homework home and kind of worked out how to put riffs into piano songs, and this was the first one, and it's almost like my go-to gig opener. It's my favourite way of opening a show. It kind of stamps your flag, like here I am. It's Milk Train. Thank you very much. That is thirsty work. So I'm wearing my Dandy Punk Prince t-shirt tonight, kindly made for me by Gillian Graham up in, I think, the Wirral or Liverpool. I'm going to get slated for getting that wrong. Somewhere up there. So I went through a phase a few years ago of writing songs but never writing them down, and I guess the theory behind it was if the song is strong enough, it will last, and the weak ones fall onto the wayside, you know. It's kind of a kamikaze way of writing, so I'm sure I lost a few gems doing that, but from that kind of experience, it's kind of nice, really, just riding and letting it happen. And this song is one of those songs, I never wrote it down. It's weird when you come to record a song that you've never written down as well. And you have to end up writing it down just for the recording process. It's very strange. It's called Exile. This is for Joe and James.
Down the stairs, standing in the dark, shackled feet and a bruised heart. Ain't nothing more that I can do, but I set this frame high as I sit here and give the time. My life in eight pieces on the floor. I know this ain't your idea of heaven. Know what you dreamed of as a child, but it's all that I can give. It's all that I got in me. See the house, they're all there. Ain't no crack in the bars on the window, but this home for a little while. Ain't nothing more that I can do as I sit here and count the time. Count the hours, the seconds, the minutes, more than by. I know this ain't your idea of heaven. Know what you dreamed of as a child, but it's all that I can give. It's all that I got in you. Why don't you tear these walls? I can breathe and I can soar, I can fall as I sit here and count the time. Count the hours, the minutes, the seconds, holding by. I know this ain't your idea of heaven. Know what you like that in me.
Thank you. So I've only chosen a handful of songs because I figured if I play all the songs and talk a little bit about the songs, we would be here all night. So please forgive me if I missed out your favourite song. I know on the request show a few weeks ago, which is actually the first back in the lockdown, you know, someone asked for Fabric of Time, which I started as my intro music today. But that song is, I won't go into that because I'm going to play it at some point, but today it didn't really fit in, and I'm actually making excuses. I can't find the sheet music. I wrote that song, it's the longest time I've ever spent on a song, and I really wanted to get it right, and it was based, at the classical bit I wrote, and it actually took about 2 years to write. I just couldn't get it right, or sounding right. It was based on a Liszt piece called Usa Spiro that I played at the academy when I was studying. But yeah, I played it last year in the lockdowns, and I can't find the sheet music, so I'm going to keep searching for it. And the computer that I recorded it on, which had the sheet music, that is also gone now. So, but rest assured, that one, it will make an appearance at some point because it's one of my favourite songs that I've ever written, to be honest. And there's a few that I've missed off as well as that. But anyway, I'm waffling on about things which aren't even in the show. So this next song, like I said, the whole album was made just on the piano. And bearing in mind the piano was nearly 200 years old, it was quite an engineering feat, and me and Simon, we spent months and months like researching what mics to use and recording techniques. And this next song, I didn't really want the piano on. It's the only kind of boogie-ish song that made the cut, but I didn't want it to be a piano boogie. I wanted it to be like electric guitar and double bass, but of course played on the piano. So with this one, I don't know if anyone's familiar with John Cage, but he used a lot of prepared piano techniques. It's something I studied a little bit, where you kind of use the piano as not this end of the piano as the instrument, but inside the piano. And so for that, we kind of lifted the lid off, and I kind of muffled all the strings. I plucked like you would a double bass, so I actually played the strings like a double bass, really. And then we recorded out, and then recorded back in, and put delays, and then put the strumming guitar on, and then put that through pedal. So a crazy amount of work. And I remember Simon always saying, it would be a lot easier if we just used the real instruments. I was like, I always like having a challenge with each record, and I said every sound has to be from this 200-year-old piano, and that's why it took about a year to record that album. In the end, and this room was a recording studio for like many months. And I have a very forgiving partner. But this is that song. It's Sex Shaking.
But nothing
fun. So I always find when you make a record, there's always the Everest on one of the songs, like the Everest to climbs. It's like the song just doesn't work, or it's like a lot of work to get there, you know. And I'll tell you, I might do these on all the albums. We've got well, I don't know how long we've got in the lockdown, but to vary them up, maybe I'll do this little talk through of different albums. So I won't give it away what it is on each record, but I seem to have one on each. On this record, it was this song, you know. Again, using the piano. This was an organ song. So we needed to make an organ out of the piano, which took a couple of months with just kind of playing the chords. We'd then go into the studio and break the chords down. We would chop them up, put the reverb on, record the reverb, basically build it just from the sound files. It was a crazy amount of work. Like I say, it took months just to get just the sounds right, and then I couldn't seem to make the song sit. It just wasn't right, you know. But I wasn't going to let this song go. It was a real special song, you know, and it had to make the record. You know. I kind of left Simon. We both went away. We worked on it separately. We thought that might be easy. So I kind of locked myself away in my little homemade studio. I was like, I'm going to get this song working, you know. I think it was like 2 days before it was going to mastering, I finally took it back to Simon. I was like, we've got it, you know. And I was so glad it did, you know, that it made the record. It would have been a shame for it to be missed out. And this song I actually wrote in Italy. I got flown out to play a gig there. I was on my own, and I kind of played the gig and went back to the hotel. It was this big room. There was no one in the hotel, and I got some wine and stuff, and I kind of like, I don't really want to go to bed yet. So I went for a wander, and I found this piano in this beautiful sort of, it felt like a medieval hall, all stone and big sort of hanging, like huge paintings on the wall. Again, I wanted this song to be right, and that's where the lyrics decided to come that night. And this song is quite a journey. It's called War. Thank you. So this song was the last song that I recorded on the album. And it's kind of by accident it was the last song. It was basically because we tried to record this many times, like during the sort of daytime, 'cause recording in here, like we do have neighbours and stuff. We tried to do all the sessions in the daytime. This was quite a quiet song, and we'd get a take done and then a car would drive past or something, and it was like, oh no, it's like, we can't keep wasting these takes, you know, it's like. So in the end we had a little chat with my neighbours and like, do you mind if we record it? It's only going to be a quiet song and it's quite a short song. Like really late at night, so I think we did it like 1 o'clock in the morning or something. I've got very kind neighbours. It's kind of an old song. I wrote this, well, it's kind of lyrically descriptive of how it was written. It was a Sunday morning, and I did have a hangover. Sorry, Mum. But I was sitting in my back room just writing, and this is a song that came. Today, I'm going to dedicate this to John, because I believe it's your birthday, and I think this is your favourite song, isn't it? So John Cave, very special friend and huge fan, and I've got one of your siders waiting for me to give you a little cheers later after the show, when I watch this back, but this is for you. This is a very happy birthday. It's your big birthday. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say the number, but it's the big 60. So happy birthday, John. This is for you. This is called Ice Cream Jesus.
I see a smile through a shadow on a Sunday morning. Oh, he is still tired, but eyes in your bottle-eyes as still as me. I'm as sick as my nicotine fears, but I hear you calling. I hear you calling. I promise I'll be here waiting
Happy birthday. I hope you're having a wicked day. Thank you. So I forgot to say earlier, like the name, the Dandy Punk Prince. It was after a show on the Isle of Wight. I read a review. I'm not one of those artists that don't read the reviews. I love to see what people say, good or bad. I like it, you know. Anyway, she put in the review. She says, "I came out like Dandy Punk Prince." I like that. And I saved that in my kind of memory bank for a while, and I was like, I got to use that now. I'm so glad someone else came up with it, because you can't really call yourself that. So I'm the Dandy Punk Prince in my punk palace. It all works out. It's the long road, but you know, the ripples fade into one eventually, you know. It all makes sense in the end.
Faces of cars are gonna replace. Nowhere to go except a lonely place. So, and out on the fall, someplace up north, get me to the border that no one can chase. So, home is where the heart's leaving on the sunset, and I would put you on the hardest. You know, if it's blue, there's a stop. Lighting up the history books, something more the white balloon. I forgot to notice, count out before explosions. Get me to the shelter that no one got to chase us home. Home is where the heart is leaving on the sunset, and I want to put the hardest. Looking at the red light, as I stop at the night, something to remember. To look when you face it right. Told you on parade, just waiting to invade. As a cock on your tongue, will you follow it all the way down? Always where the heart is leaving on the sunset, and I'm to beat you on the hardest. Thank you. Short and sweet, that one, huh? Well, folks, I'm coming to the end of my little show with you tonight. So again, thank you so much for coming and spending your Sunday night with me. As I say every week, it really means the world, and I go back and tonight I'll be having my posh cider and watching back the comments and stuff. Like I will say every week, if you're a newbie here, I don't have the screen or anything. I just have it turned away and I watch the show back and read the comments and all that. My little lockdown after party. But I've thoroughly enjoyed tonight. I'm kind of going through this album, and I hope I gave a little insight to the behind
behind the record kind of sleeve, you know. The record sleeve, by the way, was shot in here, as you know, with an amazing photographer called Tina Kay. And, she does a lot of rock stuff and a lot of big artists, you know. And I was very humbled she came and took my picture. And for those of you that have the record, and you can see up close, our tailored suits are made by my partner, Pavey. So, as is this. I've got my in-house tailor. You've got to look good if you're the dandy pump prince. I don't know. But I will be back next week. I know it's Valentine's, and I got something special planned. So. But as always, stay safe, and I hope you have a good week, and you're staying well. And going back to the Hazel days, it seems like a bookend. This I always started with a boogie, and I always finished with a boogie. On the record, it's different. It's got the riff on, the Sammy-inspired riffs. But I always like finishing with this song. This is the Dark House Boogie.
Well, I've been down the railroad 1,000 times before. Well, I've been down the much, everybody. I have been Tensheds. This is a Punk Palace. Stay safe, be kind. Thank you so much. See you next week.